Yeah.
On this side, no?
It's okay, even here, no?
Sri Lanka's annual technical session 2021. You are already aware we have successfully completed 2 successive sessions. On the 15th, we talked about ways and means of plastic waste collection with a view to minimizing marine plastic pollution and protecting marine biodiversity. On the 16th, yesterday, we talked about biodiversity conservation and the future of businesses. Today, the entire day is dedicated to showcase unique member interventions by our membership. Without much ado, I would like to invite Mr. Subramaniam Easwaran, Director Biodiversity Sri Lanka, Vice Chairman, Easwaran Brothers Export, to deliver opening remarks on behalf of Biodiversity Sri Lanka. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's really a pleasure and an honor to be here to be speaking to you. I must say that I'm a proud member, and I was very proud also to be invited to be a director of Biodiversity Sri Lanka, mainly because there is no other organization in the country right now that is pushing this, pushing the environmental agenda in Sri Lankan boardrooms. This is, as you know, a topic that is very important for us. We as a country are developing, but we are also having our own problems. And if our businesses and if our key organizations, our top corporates don't take care and think about the long-term consequences of their actions, what are we really earning all of this money for? Why are we working so hard? Why are we using up our natural resources in order to just get some short-term benefit? In that way, I think Biodiversity Sri Lanka's work has been exemplary. It has been much needed, and it is a way that it is a way to bring this conversation and metrics into Sri Lankan boardrooms. So I'm very, very proud to be part of this event. And this event is also very important because it brings in a lot of synergy between the members. The idea is not just for us to showcase champions and to talk about the work that they're doing, but also to figure out how we can have synergies between each other so that corporates can help each other in certain projects. Maybe there might be a project that I'm working on, or that Easwaran Brothers is working on, or the carbon consulting company is working on, that we might be able to partner with one of your companies, or one of your projects might have a lot of similarities, and there may be synergies. So I think that is the main purpose of this day's session. So I hope it'll be a fruitful one, and I look forward to hearing about all your projects as well. So while I share my screen, I have to just say that my presentation is not really going to be about a specific project that we have done, because we're involved in quite a lot of projects. But having heard the sessions yesterday and the day before, I thought I would present a little bit about, why should a company choose to become green, and what benefits do companies really have by going through this process. So I'll just start with a little bit about our own journey. So I'm from Easwaran Brothers. The business was started by my grandfather in 1943. And really our sustainability journey started of course, we have always thought of ourselves as a good company. When my grandfather started the business, there was no CSR section. It's just something that people did. It was not thought of as something for the back pages of corporate profiles. But we started in 2008 to really have a look at our values and, our DNA itself to see what makes us who we are. There are over 400 tea exporting companies in Sri Lanka. And of course, there's, Eastern Brothers, there's Akbar Brothers, there's the Jaffaji Brothers. What really sets each one apart was honestly a question mark in my mind when I joined the business. Fundamentally, we realized that one of the things that my grandfather and my father were very good at was in looking after the world around us, and that primarily was about looking after the communities that we were in. Of course, we made sure that we were not in any polluting industries, or we were not harming the environment, but that was never a focus. But we always looked after, the communities around us, the people who are working with us, the people around us, the Buddhist temples around us, the Hindu temples, the churches, that's the way the community was involved with. So looking at this, we thought, okay, how can we make this one of our differentiators? And that set us on a journey. I mean, of course, we can't claim to be the most sustainable tea company in the world by any means. It's a journey that we're on. But that was one of the targets that we set ourselves out to be. So along the way, we became the first carbon neutral tea company in the world. This is back, in 2010, when very few other companies were talking about it. We created the first water footprinted tea product. We did the first biodiversity study again back in 2011 and 12 of a tea plantation. And our aim was to really help the partners that we're working with to up their game as well. And then, of course, there are several companies now doing this, and they're doing great work as well. And along the way, we have been, this work was recognized, and we've been winning awards. So the question I'm always asked is, okay, so we're doing all of these great things, but does green actually pay? Does it help your business in any way? Or is it something that you're just doing, in order to stack all of these nice awards on your shelves? And I can honestly say that we've had a tremendous response, not just from the younger workforce. As the millennials join us, they see us as a committed partner and somebody worth joining, but also with the type of businesses that we work with, the supermarket chains, the clients. So we had a huge number of increase in inquiries. These figures are a little old, but they're only better now. 60% of all our customers have incorporated our certifications into their products and their stories in some way. And it's led to increased customer interaction. So my conversion moment, and you can see Professor Mohan Munasinghe, the famous, Sri Lanka's, one of Sri Lanka's, only Sri Lanka's nominated Nobel laureate. I heard him speak, and I was also in a forestry project in Hiniduma, in a smallholder tea plantation in Hiniduma, and I was able to look across from where I was and where the tea ended and where the forest started, and I was able to see how close the forest and the tea bushes were. And that was a big realization for me. Okay, I'm working in this industry. How are we contributing to this problem? And the world is facing a lot of problems, as you know. I mean, 2017, if we all remember, was one of the worst years for Sri Lanka in terms of droughts and floods. And if we look back and think about all the other environmental disasters or the man-made disasters that we've created, do we really need anything more than a moral case? So what is the business case? Can a green business really turn over more than ₹1 billion? Can we become, truly green giants within the Sri Lankan corporate space? Is a question that we all have to ask. So what we say is that business has a sustainability problem, but also that sustainability has a business problem. So we, as members of important organizations, as part of Sri Lanka's corporate infrastructure, I think we also need to figure out how to sell sustainability, not just to our own people and to each other, but to the general public. I think that's going to be a key. So I'm not going to go into all of the details of what the characteristics of a green giant are, but I'll just briefly touch upon them. One is, of course, a higher purpose. If you, and we take this personally as well, if we have a higher purpose in whatever we're doing, in whatever business we're doing, apart from just making money or turning over the profits, we will be able to achieve more in becoming a green giant. We need mainstream appeal. So we close what we call the green gap, which is the difference between the few who are doing committed things and the mass majority who are not really committed. We as businesses have to figure out how to close this gap. And whatever we do in terms of sustainability has to be built in, not added on, as I said, in the back pages of our annual reports. That's not really why we do it. And we also need disruptive innovation. We can't just do things the same way that we were doing. We have been doing them for the last 20 years or the last 10 years or even the last 3 years. Things are changing so fast. So we need huge bets on R&D, and we need to cultivate a culture of pervasive innovation. So let me just very quickly end by talking about two things. One is how to find your purpose. So think about your company or your product and think about the cultural tensions that you have and issues that cannot captivate the passion of your customer or your community. Think about the extremities, the positive or negative impacts that your product is having on society. And then the product characteristics. So the functional heritage or the meaning of your brand that your brand has created over time. All these 3 points are very key to helping you find your purpose. I know I'm rushing through this. It's a much deeper topic, and I'm happy to talk to anybody. You can reach out to me at a later stage. So I'll just end by showing you an example of how sustainability can be used right. So this is a product that was released by Clorox in the US. And initially they started off with the product that you see on your left, which is a all-purpose natural cleaner. What they didn't realize at the time was that people associate sustainability with certain characteristics of being soft, of being gentle, of purity. So when you talk about a cleaner being sustainable, people automatically think of it as something that cannot be used, that won't perform as well. That product didn't sell. Once they switched over and said, this is an all-purpose cleaner and it does powerful cleaning and it's done naturally, their sales went through the roof. So this is just an example of how we can position sustainability. So the way I would suggest you look at it is take your sustainability attribute, whether it's gentleness or whether it's natural, and tie it in with one of your key USPs. So if for a tea company, the way sustainability can help us is that we talk about our products coming from a purer place, from a land where we don't use as many fertilizers or chemicals, which is another interesting topic to go into. But so when you're able to connect your USP with your sustainability story, you are able to add more meaning to the sustainability value proposition of your product. So let me just end there. And let me also just thank Biodes Diversity Sri Lanka again for this opportunity, and I look forward to listening to the other members' presentations, and to also understand how maybe we can build some synergy and help each other out on this very important journey that we're on together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Subramaniam, for your encouraging words and the insightful presentation.
Roshan, before you proceed, can I just interrupt for a few minutes?
Sure, Hanan.
Ladies and gentlemen, if your name doesn't appear, you can just rename, because I see a lot of Mirza Hanans and Pavitra Kodikaras here. If it's not your name, please, I would kindly request you to rename yourself. Thank you. Thank you, Roshan. Sorry for that.
Thanks, Anand. Now we are happy to play one video from one of our partners, Commercial Bank PLC. Samiha, over to you, please.
දුවගේ නිර්මාණය නම් හරි කාලෝචිතයි.
මේ ලෝකෙ රැකගන්න එකත් හරිම කාලෝචිතයි. මාමේ තාමත් අපිට පුළුවන් දෙයක් තියෙනවා.
ඒ මොකක්ද දුව?
අපි හැමෝම එකතු වුණොත් කරන්න බැරි දෙයක් නෑ.
මේ අපිට අත දෙන මේ කතට අත දෙන්න කාලයයි. පරිසරයට කාබන් මුදාහැරීම සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම තුලනය කළ පළමු ශ්‍රී ලාංකේය බැංකුව වන කමර්ෂල් බැංකුව වෙතින් පණිවිඩයක්.
Okay, now it is time to get on with the technical proceedings. The first keynote presentation of the day, that is titled Ambitious Business-Led Climate Change Adaptation and Ecological Restoration Efforts by Commercial Bank of Ceylon PLC. I would like to call upon Chintaka Dharmasena, AGM Services, and Kamalini Ellavala, CSR Coordinator of Commercial Bank, to enlighten us on their climate change adaptation and ecological restoration efforts. I think both of you have 35 minutes. Floor is yours, Chintaka and Kamalini.
Right.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Commercial Bank, I would like to thank Biodiversity Sri Lanka for providing this great opportunity. We strongly believe, so these are ideal platform for us to demonstrate our effort, results, and key learnings under this green agenda. And also we are here to learn from other corporates, other colleagues, because as the director mentioned in the previous session, is all about collective learning. So to drive this national agenda. So while we share our learnings, we would like to learn from others. So today's presentation, as mentioned in the heading, we'll be sharing our effort under this climate change adaptation, and we'll be, towards the latter part of the presentation, we'll be presenting the ecological restoration efforts. So my name is Chintaka Dharmasena. I'm the Assistant General Manager Services. So I'll be sharing this presentation with colleague. This presentation has 4 main areas. So first 3 topics I'll be covering our effort on the our strategic focus on the environment, then our effort on green financing, and the main part is our success story of carbon neutral journey. So this is our main point today's session. Then towards the latter part of the presentation, Kamalini will cover our CSR efforts under conservation efforts beyond banking. Okay. In terms of the strategy, I think at Commercial Bank, sustainability is one of our key strategic priority because it's in our corporate agenda. Even at board level, we discuss sustainability as a key priority. So under sustainability, environmental responsibility play a key role. So we will be sharing a lot of initiatives we have taken and our success story today with the wider group. And why this is important for commercial bank? As you know, commercial bank is the largest private sector bank in Sri Lanka. So it's our role and our leadership to show the rest of the corporate like how sustainability and green is important and share our learning. So it is our role as a leading bank in Sri Lanka to drive this agenda across the country. Okay, Sandeep. So under environment, so we have three main areas. The green financing, that is our being a finance institute. So how we handle when it comes to loans and portfolio under green theme. So how we will be sharing some of the key success stories. Then second part is how we manage our operation with the environmental focus. Then what are the key drivers, like key new initiatives under paperless banking, how we drive the digital transformation. So we'll be sharing our presentation under these three themes. So if I summarize the entire presentation in this slide, so I'll be covering the external and internal elements. Like external, how we focus on our customers. Our customers, if we can broadly categorize them into corporate sector and retail and SME. So then in terms of corporate sector, how and retail and SME, what are the new products that we have introduced under this green banner, right? Then not only selling the product, the most important thing, how we engage them, how as a bank, as a leading bank, how we increase the awareness across our customers. Customers in not only in the corporate sector, how we cascade this message to retail and even this rural sector. So we'll be sharing some success stories. Then these are drive that we are aggressively doing. We started a few years ago. Now these days we are doing aggressively how we transform our customer base to digital platforms from manual traditional systems to a digital platform. So these are the like three focus areas under our customer banner. Then internally, how we manage our operations. So whilst focusing on customers, whilst educating the customers, whilst increasing the awareness, we have to get our house in order. Otherwise, people will question like, so that's why I think internally we have a robust process to manage our carbon footprint. And as a result, we achieve this carbon neutral operation. So my entire presentation will be under this framework. Okay. As I mentioned before, like, so I'll be briefly touching the green financing, what we have done to our customers. So under corporate sector, commercial bank, we have played a key role in green financing over 2 decades. So we didn't start this a few years ago. It was like a 2 decades of story. And we were the first bank to support the commercially viable wind power project and commercially viable the scale solar power project. So we have the pride in that. And also in 2018, we partnered with IFC to strengthen our finance focus. And also to date, we have disbursed 18.8 billion under this green financing loan scheme. Then come back to retail and SME sector. So we have introduced a new product, this Diribala Green. So this is purely focusing on rooftop solar panels, catering to commercial and residential sector. So there's a very big response to that. Then there's another product to cover called eFriends, a refinance loan scheme. This is mainly focusing on waste management and energy saving projects, because there are a lot of small scale operations. They are looking for energy saving and cost saving initiatives. So this product covers that aspect. Okay, as I mentioned before, this is not only promoting our products, it's also we have a responsibility to increase the awareness, drive this campaign across the country, not only in the urban sector. So we have carried out many training programs with the association, with the professional association. At this time, we have got Energy Managers Association to drive this energy saving culture across these SMEs and other sectors. And also we encourage SME, small scale business partners to get into digital channels. So this is also we are driving aggressively as our sustainability agenda. Okay. Okay, this is our main topic today under the success story of Combank's neutral journey, carbon neutral. So again, I must say that this is not a journey we started a few years ago. It's like a 10-year journey. And I must, with the learning that we had, I must say carbon neutral is not an end goal. It's a journey. It's a continuous improvement journey. So no one can start today and say, okay, tomorrow we achieve carbon neutrality. That will not happen in reality. So it's a continuous improvement journey. So if I summarize again our carbon neutral journey, I would summarize this in 3 phases. The phase 1, actually we wanted to improve our energy efficiency. Because we are the largest bank and we have a big network. So if you look at our costs, the energy cost play a huge role, right? So initially we want to drive energy efficiency across the network, not only head office, covering our entire branch network. So we did a lot of initiatives under this energy efficiency initiative. Then with that project, we managed to establish a culture across the bank network where energy is like one of the concern criteria when it comes to developing KPIs, evaluating performance. So we managed to establish this culture. So then we didn't want to stop at that time, that moment. So we want to drive further. Then we thought, okay, we will focus on our buildings. Can we go for a green rating for our buildings? So we started that initiative. Then not only the energy and green buildings, we want to focus on supply chain aspect also. How we manage our procurement, how we manage our logistics, how we manage our warehousing. So it's a collective effort covering all aspects of the supply chain. Then after doing that, the phase 2, we thought, okay, now we had done a lot of initiatives. Let's measure. So we started to measure our carbon footprint. We thought then that gave us a good report, okay, where we stand. So then we started with a lot of carbon continuous improvement initiatives under this carbon footprint management. So then phase 3, 2020, it was like a big vision that we had. Okay, now we had done a lot of things. Can you go for carbon neutrality? So that is the summary of my presentation, which I'll be highlighting in detail. Okay. Then phase 1, as I mentioned, we started this journey way back in 2011. We wanted to introduce replace all these high energy consuming electrical elements and replace with state-of-the-art energy saving elements with user-friendly alternatives, because we cannot just keep on changing because the customers and the staff will not like that. So we had to manage whilst managing the energy saving, we should give user-friendly solution. So it was like a big project we started. Then we introduced LED. We have covered the entire network. We have 268 branches. So we have covered the entire network with LED bulbs. So the coverage is 100%. Then again in 2012-18, we started introducing this renewable rooftop solar energy. So then when we started in 2018, 15% of our network was purely covering the solar. Then 2019, you can see the improvement now as at in 2020, 25% of our network is covered through solar. Okay. So I will not get into detail, but if I present this as a summary, as an example, now this is our head office electricity bill. So you can see 2014 to 2020. So we have reduced 27% of our energy bill. So it's a big impact to the bottom line, but more than that is a big contribution to green agenda, right? So this is purely through initiative that we have done. Then the second graph, it shows a reduction in power consumption when you compare with the number of branches, right? So what is in bars, the blue bars is the growth in terms of number of branches. Whilst growing our branch network, we have reduced the energy consumption, what is in red line. So this is the end result of all our initiatives. So we are proud to share this, because this is not like an overnight achievement. It's like years of achievement. These are results where while increasing our operation, expanding our operation, we have managed to reduce the energy consumption. Okay, then to share the green rated buildings, that's a success story. So we didn't want to stop from energy saving. We wanted to cascade this to other areas also. So with that objective, I think we started with this golf fort. If I just explain this story, you can see there are two categories of pictures before and after. So you can see the golf fort is a heritage building, built in early 19th century. So this is the status when we commenced this project. And after 2 years, 1.5 years, we managed to convert that into like a modern state-of-the-art building with lots of, we have won many awards for this. But why I am sharing this under green agenda is we achieved the platinum rating, the highest eco-friendly rating offered by Green Building Council of Sri Lanka. So because it's not easy converting or refurbishing an old building to like a modern building whilst achieving a platinum green rating. It was a huge achievement. So we have put a lot of effort as per their criteria. There were a lot of audits. So it was a very success story how we convert this old building to a green platinum rated building. Okay. Then we went beyond. So now there are two new buildings in the agenda. We have put up new buildings in Jaffna and Trinco. So we are almost there to get the green certificate for these two new buildings also, right? Then under green supply chain, we have covered green sourcing. So not only internally, even the suppliers, we register suppliers who are committed to green. So when we issue RFP, we ensure that they are compliant to RFP standards and Energy Star 5 compliance standards. And within the branch network, we drive a lot of paperless initiatives across the network. And also we have started a new thing, not only energy, even the stationery, all the other benchmarking with our peer branches, like branches. That's it's a friendly competition. So it has given us results, right? So it's a new thing we started. It's a very success story there, right? Then digitalization, as I mentioned, the automation drives. So not only internal, we are driving customers also into converting to digital platforms. And also waste. We have a huge network. Then we have waste classification and system in place, and also we dispose in a responsible manner. Okay. This is an example of a new product we launched. I think we are the first in the region and fourth bank in the world to do so. It's like a flash, our digital product. It says when the consumer use this product, it will give you your carbon footprint. So it's like automatic calculation. So it's a very good way of educating the customer. Okay, when you purchase this or when you do this activity, this is your contribution to this is your contribution to the carbon footprint, right? So then awareness will definitely go up. So this is a new product. Yeah, we launch with the environmental agenda in mind. Okay. Okay, now this is the second phase. Now, after doing a lot of initiatives, we wanted to see where we stand. Why we did this was we wanted to do a benchmarking with best in the industry. Internally, we know we have done a lot of things, but we want to do a benchmarking with how others in the industry perform. So for you to do the benchmark, you need some reports, calculation, figures. So that was one of the objectives. And also within the network to identify the gaps. These were the two intentions for us to start this carbon footprint reporting. So we started this reporting in 2017 as per this ISO compliance standard. And our report was verified by independent third party. It's a government approved third party verification body, Sri Lanka Climate Fund. And our consultant, Climate Smart Initiative, played a key role in helping us to get this report on time. So you can see we started this reporting in 17, 18, 19 per capita, how we have improved the GHG emission. So it's a continuous improvement, right? Okay, so finally, I think all of y'all know that last year we celebrated our 100 years. So then with that, top team gave us a vision. Okay, now we have done a lot of things in the past decade. So let's go for carbon neutrality this year. That is a very ambitious target. So what we did was, after continuous improvement, we calculated our total carbon emission level. So as I mentioned in this report. So then we wanted to have a carbon output as a net neutral impact on the environment. So with that, we purchased this as a set off end of last year. So with that, we got the voluntary cancellation certificate. So we became the first bank in Sri Lanka covering the entire network as a carbon neutral operation. Okay. So how this is significant to us? Because as I mentioned, Combank became the first bank in Sri Lanka to achieve the carbon neutral status. Because we are the largest private sector bank, so we want to lead by example. The second point is, this is our contribution as a leading corporate. This is our contribution to the national agenda. And the third point, with that achievement, we managed to establish a culture within the bank. Now we get a lot of support and new ideas from the network, from new blood, new employees. So they want to drive many initiatives. That was the biggest achievement we achieved with this, because we don't want to drive anything from head office. They take the initiative, and they are proud of sharing that success story. So there's a culture that we have incorporated within the bank. And we are not going to stop from here. So as I mentioned, we want to drive this carbon neutral in a sustainable manner. So there are a lot of new initiatives lined up for this year and next year. So we will continue this journey. So over to you, Kamalini, to continue our presentation. Kamali, you can.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Chintaka. And good morning to the audience. So as Chintaka presented in detail, we have always included environmental, social, and economic conservations in our strategies and business operation. So this is significant because as a service organization, anyway, our environmental footprints are minimal, but still our efforts in that area are big and fat. So therefore, such initiatives were both internationally and locally recognized and awarded. So moving on to talk about the key initiatives of the CSR Trust to preserve the environment, restoration and conservation of mangrove habitat in the Kogala Lagoon. That is one of our main initiatives. And also to evaluate the success of this project, we have also initiated scientific research. And also we have initiated the research on taxonomy and conservation of the typhlops in Sri Lanka, and also conservation of marine turtles at Panama, and also environmental friendly landscaping at National Hospital of Sri Lanka. This is because a lot of vehicles are in that area moving around. So to absorb the carbon dioxide fast and to clear the air, we have initiated this project together with the National Hospital. So today we will present to you on our initiative on mangrove, mangrove habitat and the preservation and conservation of mangroves in Kogala Lagoon. So to talk about that, the importance of Kogala Lagoon, if we say that the lagoon is located in the Galle district in the southern province of Sri Lanka, and it is spread over an area of 55 square kilometers, which has about 21 islands and 7 main islands. So this is a very popular tourist destination, and more than that, this is home for 10 true mangrove species in Sri Lanka out of the 22. And the diversity of the ecosystem is very high. And also they have a bird sanctuary located in the lagoon. And also the lagoon is fed by 4 freshwater streams. So the economy of the community living around the lagoon is mainly depending on fisheries and also tourism. And also to talk about the importance of mangroves, there are 3 reasons why the mangroves are very important. First is it creates a barrier and work as a seawall. And secondly, it is a nursery for so many kinds of fish. And thirdly, it functions as a carbon sink. So therefore, the lagoon preservation and conservation is also of very important. So the need of this ecosystem, if we say that what is the need to preserve this, that is because we see that a lot of damage being done, lot of harm being done to this entire ecosystem, mainly because of the informal developments of the tourism industry. And also we see that a lot of boats and then even the seaplanes and also the community, the harm done by the community to this lagoon and and thereby the mangroves is large. So then also the damage to the community and the lagoon ecosystem is of threefold. First is the damage done to the mangrove species, and then the erosion that is caused because the mangroves are damaged, and also there is a decrease in the land area of the islands in the lagoon. So because of all these 3 reasons, the mangroves are damaged, and then in turn it does a lot of harm to the ecosystem. So what we did was we selected one island, one of the largest islands in the lagoon, Kadduwa, and this is an area of 13.5 acres, and around the island it is 1,100 meters wide. So we have covered the mangrove project 550 meters in the first and the second phases. So we did this with the help of Mr. Danushka Mahanama of Wildlife and Ocean Resource Conservation of so with the help of him, the expertise of him, we have embarked into this project. So talking about the methodology that we used in planting, what we used is a very systematic way of preserving the erosion, so thereby the mangroves are saved. We used barrels to plant the mangroves. So these barrels are cut from the top and the bottom, so that when the mangrove grows, the barrel would automatically break, and then it would leave room for the mangrove to grow. So here in front of the bank, we have planted the mangroves in the barrels, and then what is expected is it will save the erosion, and also it will start creating the depositing the mangrove mud, and then the natural germination of the mangroves. So, however, this process will take about 8 to 10 years to complete. So, we will be continuing our efforts, and also when the barrels are broken, those are collected and sent for recycling. So during the first phase, about 200 barrels of mangroves were planted to cover 250 meters in the eastern part of the island. And also we have planted 815 plants of associated mangrove species, 2,300 plants of 2 mangrove species, and 505 plants of terrestrial plant species covering the island. In the second phase also, we covered 250 barrels of mangrove we planted, covering an area of 300 meters with the same kind of plantation that we did in the first phase. So this is the evolution Here, the pictures are before planting and after planting. The pictures are captured at the same location. So you can see before planting how the erosion has happened, and after the first year of plantation, and also how we planted using the barrels, and the first year of plantation and the second year of planting. So likewise, what we used is a special kind of a mangrove where it will help the rooting system of the mangroves is specific, so that it will help plantation inside the barrel. Then moving on, we also created awareness among the community, local community, as well as school children, university students, volunteer groups, government agencies, and also private institutions. Since the year 2019, since the year we commenced, we have conducted awareness programs for over 700 school children and about 1,500 people in all other groups. So these awareness programs were extended to youth outside the area, area of Koggala and the other parts of the country, because with about a quarter of population living in the coastline of the country, Sri Lanka, mangroves are very important for the safety and livelihoods of the coastal communities. Therefore, the awareness was extended outside Koggala area. So moving on, distribution of benefits among the community and the project sustainability. Here we understand that this kind of initiatives will not sustain without the community being fully involved and engaged in this project. So what we did was we got So it was mainly the tour community that were involved. So then they started owning the project. So when they took ownership, it was very easy for us to ensure that it would sustain for the future also. So talking about the benefit groups, there are about 35 direct beneficiaries out of the project and 150 indirect beneficiaries. But however, the effects to the environment, we really cannot be measured. So this process will take about 8 to 10 years, as we said, and we will continue our involvement and then our efforts. So here also we must mention that our efforts in this area was also recognized and commended by the Secretary General of Commonwealth, Right Honourable Patricia Scotland, QC, when she visited the country in 2019. She visited the country as the chair of the Commonwealth's Blue Charter Action Group on mangroves. So here she also mentioned that this work is very important if we are to achieve the aspirations set out in the Paris Agreement on climate change for reducing carbon and turning our globe into somewhere which is truly sustainable for our children in the future. So ladies and gentlemen, this is a live showcase of our success story. So as we continue to mention sustainability of all our efforts we ensure. So that is why we have started scientific research together with the Department of Botany, University of Peradeniya, together with environmentalists, to evaluate the success of the methodology that we used in mangrove plantation. So as a responsible corporate citizen and also as a national bank, we have always committed to better serve our people and our country and the planet in turn, to ensure continuity of our action and giving positive effects and ensuring and also keeping in line with bank's sustainability purpose. So, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you all for your attention, and also we thank Biodiversity Sri Lanka for this opportunity for us and for the long-standing continuous relationship maintained with us. And also, as Mr. Iswaranathan mentioned, the synergy between us is of very important. So, ladies and gentlemen, so we now open for questions and clarifications and comments from you. And thank you.
Thank you very much, Chintaka and Kamalini, for very informative presentation. I think it is full of very rich content. I'm sure that our audience found it interesting. In my view, I think the take-home message is becoming carbon neutral is a journey. It takes years of hard work, and you have to carry out a range of interventions. Kudos to Combank for becoming the first carbon neutral bank in Sri Lanka. I think floor is open for a couple of questions. In fact, I would like to make an announcement that actually for this session, the sponsor is Commercial Bank. We can take a couple of quick questions. Please unmute yourself, identify and raise the question. We have a couple of minutes.
Yes. Roshan, I'm Professor Nirmali Pallewatha from the University of Colombo. May I ask a question?
Yes, please. Go ahead, Professor.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Dharmasena and Ms. Allavala, for a very informative presentation. I would like to know, you talked about Kokala, but you have other conservation projects like the marine turtles of Panama and a couple of others. What's the progress? I mean, where are they at? And also I'd like to know, because now in Kokala you mentioned that the work was being done by tour groups and communities. Now, you know, given the fact that since March 2020, we've been in this COVID situation, I assume the role of the tour groups is almost non-existent. And but what about the community? I mean, who is actually doing it on the ground now? Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Professor. In taking that question, as mentioned, it is our environmentalist, Mr. Danushka Mahanama, who is steering this project. And yes, the tour groups are not there anymore. But however, the community, as we explained, we have given them the necessary awareness, and also we have made them the stakeholders of this project. So basically, although it is our initiative, they own this project. So they keep on maintaining and they keep on, you know, preserving whatever that the plantation that we have done, and it is continuing. And also, Professor, to in answering your other question on the turtle conservation, yes, that also we have done it in the similar manner, where we have initiated together with the expertise in that area, and then while they give the expertise, the community takes it, they own it, and they run it. So basically, that is our initiative, going beyond banking and enabling the communities to run this project, these projects successfully, so that we can ensure continuity. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you. I think in the interest of time, let's proceed. The next item is actually playing the BSL video. Samiha, over to you.
As an island nation, Sri Lanka boasts of unique biodiversity. This is our precious inheritance. Areas that remained relatively untouched in the past and left to thrive naturally are now showing reversal against a mega development. However, this damage to relatively balanced ecosystems cannot be undone. Much of the ongoing loss of biodiversity can be attributed to
Samiha, I think we seem to have a technical issue.
Roshan, that you go ahead. I suggest you go ahead.
Yes, please. So now we come to the all important, the second segment of the day. It is all about member interventions, member projects. We have 8 case study presentations and each company gets 12 minutes to present their unique intervention. And I kindly invite my colleague Hanan to moderate this segment. Over to you, Hanan.
Thank you, Roshan. Thank you very much. I hope that you can hear me.
Yeah, we can, Hanan.
Great.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Roshan. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the Commercial Bank for presenting their case studies, and it's actually an inspiration for everyone. And yeah, so congratulations and thank you very much for partnering with us today. Sharing, reflecting, and researching our work and achievements will benefit each other. Creation of know-how and awareness on scientific methods and approaches will enable us to provide answers on how we can work together and safeguard our unique natural heritage. And from today's session, we will all know that business can be a force for change on climate. By saying that, ladies and gentlemen, I now like to start the second session of the day. We have few companies who came forward to present their case studies and inspire and enlighten the audience and this event. So this is how we are going to do. We are not going to choose a particular company by preference. We will allow a system to automatically choose a member. So once the system chooses, we will invite the particular person to present their case studies. So Samiha, if you can spin the wheel, it'll be great. It's just like a lottery. Let's see. Okay, so we have our general member, Taravakali Tea Estate Plantations, and so they are going to present on ecosystem restoration project of St. Clair Falls water catchment area. For that, I like to call the Assistant Manager of Sustainability, Mr. Krishna Chaturanga. Krishna, if you're here, you can just go ahead and present your case study. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hanan. Good morning, all of you. I think you can hear me properly, and my presentation also you can see in the screen. Hanan, can you confirm, please?
Yes, we can hear you, and we can also see your screen.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think a lucky day for me, the opportunity as a first presenter. Actually, I'm representing Salwakali Tea Estate PLC under Halis Plantation sector. Today, I'm going to present our key and significant project we started by 2019 World Environment Day, and it is one of our key reforestation projects to protect water catchment area in the upcountry, Central Highland. We can see the nice picture of St. Clair waterfall. We started our reforestation project based on the St. Clair waterfall water catchment area. First of all, I would like to introduce about my company, Salwakali Tea Estate PLC, managing around 6,000 hectares upcountry and low-country area. We are having 16 tea estates, and we are doing majority tea and small amount of rubber and other minor crops. And we are responsible for 6,000 odd employment, male and female, majority female workforce as a plantation company, and 3.8 billion turnover, producing around 5.9 million kilogram of main tea, and our carbon footprint around 8,000 in annual average. And, we are working and we are highly focusing to reduce our carbon footprint and total environment footprint through the various kind of projects according to the priority that we have identified through the various assessments as a plantation company and our key operation. This is our project. Today I'm going to present and highlight because we identified our responsibility to protect upcountry areas, especially because our most of states situating very near to the lot of high conservation value areas like Great Western Forest and Great Western Forest boundary and the mountain also, and a lot of water resources, St. Clair, Devon, and Upper Kotmale water catchment area. And the low country also, there are few states boundary to the Singaraja forest. Therefore, we identified our responsibility to protect beyond to the doing our plantation and agriculture work. Then we identified key project, this reforestation project. Then we initiated, and up to now we have obtained a lot of collaboration with the various parties, government, non-government organizations, and other businesses also. That is our key success point, because we identified very important project for the country and our community, local community, and the as a nation, we are living within the one of key biodiversity hotspots in the world. Therefore, we identified this project and we initiated to restore the especially water catchment area, then the other buffer zones of the natural and conserved forest. With this project, we are aiming to conserve and improve ecosystem quality of ecosystem to obtain mutual benefit for our agriculture work and local community and the environment. That is our main mission, and our objective to develop one of business model to enhance and strengthen the reforestation activities with the partnership with the businesses and some other government organizations, technical partners, and all. That is the way we are started this project, and we are continuing this project as a continual improvement way. And this is a journey, because we have started this reforestation activities around 15 years before with the UNDP and other organization contribution, and we realized the benefit, especially for the organization. And we are having now under that initial project, 1 million tree project, we are obtaining a lot of benefit because we are having a sustainable biomass the supply chain, our own one, and the timber production also to fulfill the national requirement. So those projects will contribute to reduce the unsustainable forest and timber harvesting activities within the country. That is one of key achievements with our reforestation journey up to now. Especially this project is mainly focusing on purely for the conservation purpose we are doing with the support of the other businesses and the government organization. We already completed 9 hectares of conservation forestry with the native and endemic plants, totally for the conservation purpose, no any commercial benefit from this initiative with the 9 hectares. And we are planning to extend this hectare amount of hectares year by year, and we are having a corporate plan for that. And we already obtained a lot of contribution and collaboration from the Helis group of companies and the some other outside engagement also. And we already planted 19,000 endemic and native plants within the upcountry area, especially St. Clair water catchment area, Upper Kothumale water catchment area. Then we are having a native and endemic plant nursery, our own one, to fulfill our reforestation requirement with the native and endemic. And we obtain a lot of contribution from the other parties because of the significance of this project. And we are having a separate and dedicated team to continue this project and be supervised, because we know within the country a lot of tree planting programs conducting every year ceremonially. And but when we are referring some figures and some other statistics, our forest cover also within the same limit, so it is still decline. That is the reality. Therefore, we are highly focusing to ensure the post planting activities and the plant survival rate and the success rate. That is our main focus, and this is the key highlights of our project. And we believe this is very impactful project in the environment aspect and the climate emergency aspect, because we know we are under climate crisis with the global increase of the global warming and related other natural disasters. Therefore, we believe this will be impactful initiative for the environment and especially climate emergency aspect and the social aspect also, because local community within these areas getting a lot of benefit from this project. Their livelihood and the earning potential will be increased, and we can provide some the job opportunities for them, additional job opportunities for them. And we are having youth engagement also with the Parisara Niyamu committees within our state-wise environment management system, and it will create awareness for the local community. Those are the social impact through this project, and we definitely are obtaining a lot of business advantages from this project, because a lot of buyers and especially international buyers highly interest on this kind of project, and they are giving some business advantages for us because they are doing this responsible work for the national and the international situation. Therefore, we are obtaining a lot of business advantages also to this project. Those are the impact, and this is the project gap. As I mentioned previously, we identified because normal and the traditional plantation setup is like this. We are doing agriculture activities within our own land area. Then some are doing agroforestry, especially for the commercial purpose, timber and firewood requirement to fulfill. And then we identified we are having a potential to link those our agriculture and agroforestry activities.
You have 2 minutes left.
Agriculture activities with the natural and ecosystem, obtaining ecosystem benefits. Then we initiated this analog forestry method to link our agriculture operations, areas, and activities to the natural forest. Then we are getting a mutual benefit for us, and it will benefit to the ecosystem also. Yeah, this is some recognition we received for our key initiative, Green World Award for, especially for this project, and the last year Chairman Award also recognized this project. And these are the few other our climate action, campaign climate action. We are committed to the science-based targets to reduce our greenhouse gases as the very first campaign in Sri Lanka, and the climate neutral now initiative also. And thank you very much for the opportunity. And finally, I am going to share a small video with you. I think I'm having 2 minutes for
yes,
my
Krishna,
video.
yes, so if it's
okay, oh, I can skip the.
No, if it's less than 2 minutes, you can go ahead.
Okay, okay. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Krishna. Thank you very much. And it was also hard to recognize you, and just knowing that the COVID has enabled anyone, like has prevented us from going to salons. And don't worry, I was also there. So Amra, without wasting more time, let's also go to the to see who is the next presenter. Okay, it's Resplendent Ceylon. And for that purpose, I like to call Sharani, Manager Sustainability, and also everything. I think everyone should also know that she is no stranger to our platform. She was part of our secretariat a few years ago. So Sharani, I'd like to invite you to present your case studies.
Thank you so much for that, Hanan. Hope everyone can hear me okay.
Yes, we can hear you. If you can share your video also, it will be great if you're in a position,
Great.
otherwise it's okay.
Will do. Just give me 2 seconds to get my screen up and running.
Great.
All right.
We can see your video and we can see the presentation as well.
Great. I might turn my video off. I'm just saying hi to everyone, but I might keep my video off while I present, if that's okay.
That's all right. That's completely fine.
Perfect. All right. So firstly, thank you, BSL, for this opportunity. I know as within the private sector, there isn't a lot of options for engaging with other like-minded organizations who share like our same ethos in conservation and social justice. So thank you for this opportunity for us to learn from each other. So good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's keeping well and safe. Today, Resplendent Ceylon would like to take this opportunity to speak more about a signature initiative that we have been undertaking the past few years in Sri Lanka Central Highlands. So specifically targeting the Peak Ridge Forest Corridor. And I'd like to actually bring in a bit of the idea of landscape conservation and how Resplendent Ceylon is actually putting this into action. All right. So just a bit about Resplendent Ceylon. As some of you may know, we are currently Sri Lanka's foremost luxury resort circuit. We have resorts in Baligama, so Cape Baligama, and in Yala, Wild Coast Tented Lodge. And up in the tea country, we have Ceylon Tea Trails. Resplendent Ceylon is the only Sri Lankan travel accommodation company associated with Brilliant Chateau. And yeah, so our Peak Ridge project is focused up in the tea country, as I mentioned. So partnering with Ceylon Tea Trails and the Wilderness and Wildlife Conservation Trust. So how this came about, I'll just give you a background into landscape conservation to start with. Landscape conservation is an approach that brings people together across sectors and cultures to collaborate on conserving our important landscapes. And of course, the myriad ecological, cultural, and economic benefits they provide. This highly collaborative practice embraces the complexity of working at scale to connect and protect our irreplaceable landscapes. So this is across public and private lands and from our cities to our wildest places. How this project started, so the leopard is considered to be an umbrella species, which also dictates a lot of conservation action. But though a lot of people know that Yala has the highest density of leopards, very few people know about the leopards in the Central Highlands until we hear it in the news that a leopard has been caught in a snare. So in 2016, the Wilderness and Wildlife Conservation Trust, supported by Resplendent Ceylon, undertook an initial study of the leopards of the Peak Ridge. So this study not only identified high biodiversity in the region, but that the leopards in the region also use this particular ridge, which I'll just show you a map of later on, as a corridor from the Greater Peak Wilderness Sanctuary, as well as acting as a residential refuge for these leopards. So with the establishment of remote cameras in the area, we identified a total of 4 males, 5 females, and their cubs as resident leopards within the Peak Ridge. This work aims to continue with the long-term monitoring of the ranges of approximately 15 leopards that we've identified thus far, and their lifespan via timelines and recruitment and data analysis as well. So how exactly are we hoping to put landscape conservation into action? It involves tracking the temporal biodiversity of the region. So this involves undertaking transect studies to do biodiversity assessments, the continuous seasonal biodiversity assessments, monitoring and analyzing the leopard populations through remote cameras, taking climate action through habitat restoration. So as many of you might know that the Peak Ridge is actually a watershed area where most of the water drains into both the Castlereagh as well as the Mausakali reservoirs. We also hope to establish collaborative partnerships, which we have already with a number of plantation companies who are currently on this call as well, I hope, and creating education and creating awareness to promote coexistence between human and leopards. So Resplendent Ceylon has the idea of regenerative tourism. We believe it goes beyond sustainability, where we're aiming for positive and restorative impact rather than just seeking to do less harm and reduce our impact on the environment and our communities. So as you can see here, this is a peak ridge corridor. This on this side is the Castlereagh Reservoir, and this you have the Mouse-Calais Reservoir. And the peak ridge runs through here, connecting to the peak wilderness on your left-hand side. And yeah, so this type of forest is montane forest owing to the colder climates and the higher elevation. All right. So through remote cameras along the peak ridge and on our partner estates, our technical partner Wilderness and Wildlife Conservation Trust monitors the movement of the leopards to gain a better understanding of their movements as well as their territories. So this data is used to create family trees, like how we see here, the leopards of the Dunkeld region, which actually shows us some of the key leopards that we have been identifying over the past few years. A few beautiful ones here, Aussie, OC, Nina, her two cubs. The leopards are named just for our, just to give us a bit more understanding into their behavior and relate more to them, I suppose. So likewise, the data is used to create family trees and also which contributes to the monitoring and quantifying of cub recruitment. So how new cubs are added to the population and how this population is continuously increasing. Likewise, scat analysis allows us to gain an insight into prey availability and the diet of the leopards in the region. So I was just up there the other day, and interesting enough came across both these two species, both these two droppings. So on your left-hand side, the darker one shows a diet that's predominantly wild boar, whereas the more furry, lighter one we are assuming they haven't done the studies yet, we'll know for sure. But it's most probably a leopard who had fed on some barking deer. Right here is our very beautiful Dunkeld Research Station. So WWCT undertakes all their research from here. And Dunkeld, being one of DILMA's tea estates, is where we bring our guests as well for that experience. So moving on, in addition to the monitoring of the leopard populations and their behaviors and their territories, we also hope to restore the habitats around here. So the tea country is synonymous with habitat fragmentation that has happened centuries ago since tea was first planted in Sri Lanka. So we hope to actually conserve the existing forest patches that lie within this fragmented landscape. We hope to do so by mapping the degraded land for restoration. So with the support of our partners, we have actually undertaken GIS analysis to identify the boundaries of these forest patches, and then hope to restore this with native forest species and the regeneration of these fragmented landscapes. So we hope to actually establish corridors between the peak ridge. As I mentioned previously, it acts as a corridor between the peak wilderness and the peak ridge itself. So we hope to establish corridors here by regenerating the degraded land with native species. And also the ecosystems of the region would be automatically restored while enhancing the leopard habitat and also reducing the risk of human-leopard conflict. So key area that we hope to promote here is human-wildlife coexistence. And by undertaking continuous education and awareness sessions amongst the local community, we hope to help people understand the key role of the leopards in these ecosystems and the fatal impact of illegal stands. So like I pointed out earlier, the most times that we hear about leopards in the hill country is when we see it on the news where a leopard has been caught in a stand. So we feel that inclusion and increasing advocacy for these species and their habitats is crucial for sustainability of this initiative. And we're hoping that by establishing these forest guardian programs within our states, where we essentially give the onus of conservation, we're handed over to the local communities by building their capacity to be able to take this initiative forward in the future and to act as essentially guardians of this region and the species that live within it. So here we have some of our leopards caught on the camera traps we have around the peak ridge. And these are just a few of the posters and stuff that we put up, that WWCT has actually put up at the factories and master sheds around our partner estates. In terms of contribution, so we do understand that there doesn't make sense, there isn't actually any sense in doing projects haphazardly, and we believe that it has to contribute to something larger and more impactful. As we are currently at a crucial juncture in history where we're facing a climate crisis and rapid biodiversity loss. So we hope this initiative will actually contribute to the larger local and global conservation efforts by focusing on priority areas of ecosystem restoration and elimination of human-wildlife conflict within the current National Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan. And also, we believe that the landscape conservation approach really adds tangible value to these areas highlighted within the NBSL. Additionally, in line with Resplendent Ceylon's sustainability strategy, the initiative also contributes to Sustainable Development Goals 13 of climate action, Sustainable Development Goal 15 of life on land, and SDG 17 partnership for the goals. It isn't without challenges. It would be wrong of me to say that it has been going swimmingly. So since the initiative began, the no longer novel threat, the pandemic has considerably dampened our efforts in terms of fieldwork as well as engagement sessions. But we have pushed through and we work towards conservation in a new normal by actually building capacity within the local community to be able to undertake the fieldwork and give them the ability to do so without us having to be there constantly with the travel restrictions. Additionally, considering the scale of restoration along the peak ridge, so just on Dunkeld Estate alone, we have 7 acres allocated for this, whereas all other partners have also pledged certain acreage for this purpose. However, although we have established nurseries on our estates as well as our partner estates to support the activities, we currently depend on propagation to source native saplings, just because most nurseries only carry commercially viable species like eucalyptus or maybe invasive species even. Possibly the most important of the SDGs, in my opinion, is Goal 17, Partnership for the Goals. As highlighted in the premise of landscape conservation as well, conservation action is more effective through collaborative partnerships. And despite our different industries of operation, a common ethos of environmental conservation has united our partners, like as we strive for landscape conservation to protect our leopards. I will be wrong not to mention them by name, but Muskelia Plantations, Foreigner Plantations, MJF Tea Gardens, Kalania and Brema Tea Estates, Madhu Sima Estates, Bhagwan Talava, and Alliance Finance as well. Just on the left hand here is the MOU we signed of our founder partners, which we did so in February earlier this year. And if BSL is okay, I will share this presentation to be shared with the guests here so that you can have a look at this video of the leopards, as well as you can hear more from our researchers, Anjali Watson and Andrew Kittle. And also you can have a read through here, which is the faunal diversity at Ceylon Tea Trails, which it's a rapid biodiversity assessment almost, which has been undertaken by our very own naturalists. Thank you, everyone. That's just my presentation. Happy to answer any questions if anyone has any.
Sharani, we'll take the questions later.
Sure thing.
And thank you very much for your presentation. And also thank you very much for allowing us to share this presentation among our members who are interested. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Anand. Thanks.
So Samiha, if we can just see who is the next presenter, it'll be great. Okay, it's our patron member, Alliance Finance Company PLC, and they will be presenting on their case studies called our proactive role in climate action and biodiversity conservation. For that, I'd like to call Ms. Chanuka Dilhani, Manager, Strategic Planning and Sustainability of Alliance Finance. So Chanuka, it's up to you. Please come and present your case studies. Thank you.
Thank you, Hanan. Due to the connection, I will also keep my video off during my presentation. Let me share the screen, please. Hope you can hear me and see my screen.
Yes, Chanuka, we can just see your screen and hear you well.
Right. Thank you so much, Biodiversity Sri Lanka, for giving us this opportunity to talk about our proactive role in climate action and biodiversity conservation. As Han mentioned, my name is Chanuka Dilhani, and I'm Manager Sustainability and Strategic Planning of our company. So let me give you a brief introduction about our company. Alliance Finance Company PLC is the oldest finance company in Sri Lanka, and we are driven by a triple bottom line business philosophy, committed to sustainable finance. And we also offer sustainable financial solutions, that is mainly transport solutions and also vehicle trading and hiring services, investment solutions such as FDs and gold investment savings, also equipment leasing and climate smart transport solutions as well. We have over 1,300 employees at the moment, and we are scattered across 91 points of presence in Sri Lanka, and we have over 100,000 customer base at the moment. So being a sustainable finance company, we have adopted this purpose statement to make the world a better place through sustainable finance. So that is our broad vision. And to support that, we have 3 high impact goals. One is directed to reduce the carbon footprint. The other one is to improve the living standards of the poverty-stricken areas in the country. And also the other one, the final one, to develop entrepreneurs and self-employment opportunities in the MSME sector. So as you can see, all our high impact goals are linked to sustainable development goals. I would like to also mention that in 2020, our company has become the first finance company in South Asia to receive the sustainability certification for holistic sustainability integration to the business. This standard is called SSCI, which is introduced by the European Organization for Sustainable Development, which is an EU initiative. At the forum, the certificate was accepted by Her Excellency Mrs. Manoru Nambua, the Sri Lankan ambassador to the German Federal Republic. So our sustainability program has 2 main arms, environmental and social. Under environmental program, we have 2 main programs, tree planting and biodiversity conservation. Under social, we have social entrepreneur development, branch sustainability projects, donations and charities, and sponsorships. So since this is, I'm going to talk about the tree planting program, which is our flagship project. I would talk more about it. And initially, we have identified the most promising solution. One of the most promising solutions to climate change is tree planting. So this is how we have evolved. In 2013, we have introduced Tree for a Lease program. Before that also, we had certain programs, but they were ad hoc. So we have introduced more formal sort of a program in 2013. Later, we have developed it to a 50 trees per lease program. And in 2018, we have introduced our Turumituru AFC Turumituru project by planting. It's a 176,000 over 176,000 plants with 991 schools across the island. And as a step-up project, we have introduced 1 million trees for unity. In 2019, we have signed an MOU with the Triforces of Sri Lanka, making them our co-partner or the co-organizing partner for this project. Our project objective is to reduce the national carbon footprint and contribute towards the global battle against climate change, and promote social and ethnic harmony by using the tree as a symbol of unity. As you all know, tree doesn't differentiate anything on anything when it is giving out its many benefits. So we are using the same for this one. So as I said before, we are trying to plant 1 million trees by 2024 in selected locations of the island. And we are also hoping to obtain the collaborative support of the schools, religious groups, and the armed forces, and also to join hands with like-minded partners, customers, and other stakeholders. And more importantly, we are always striving to ensure the survival of the trees by maintaining every planted tree at least for a 3-year period. Let me also talk about the relevance to organizational, national, and international goals. I have earlier shown you that this is directly linked to one of our high impact goals, tree planting, that is reduction of carbon footprint. Nationally, we are trying to support the National Sustainability Plan and also the National Bond Challenge. Globally, we have signed Cultural Resolution in 2017, pledging our commitment to UN Sustainable Development Goals, Paris Climate Again, together called as Agenda 2030. So these are some of the goals that we are hoping to contribute with our project. I think you will be also interested to know what sort of a social and environmental impact we are having with this. So this is based on the standard calculations. Accordingly, after our trees get mature, they will produce 22,000 tons of carbon every year, and it will be equivalent to a forest cover of over 33,000 acres. We also have many social benefits of this project. Let me show you very quickly some of our initiatives. So this is facilitating social harmony and unity. This was the event we have had in 2019, 1 Million Trees launch project, where we got all the religious leaders to come into their places and plant in each of their premises. And it was a huge success, and everybody liked it very much. And we were so fortunate that we were able to get all the religious leaders into all the places to plant trees. The other one is the supporting social entrepreneurship. So this is Mr. Jayantha Balasinghe, a social entrepreneur who has emerged from Atpaura social business platform. And we are supporting him. We have engaged him as our main tree planting supplier for our project, and supporting to develop his business. Today, he owns a private limited company with over 10 employees. He also has enabled us also support these livelihoods that is elsewhere outside the Western Province. This is actually the Kurunagala nursery, where they provide employment to more than 10 unemployed women. They collect seeds and provide plants to Jayantha's nursery. So we are as a partner, we are also providing benefits to these people as well. So ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, this is not just a mere tree planting program. It is a program with multitude of benefits to the environment and the society. To date, we have planted over 350,000 trees, and we are hoping to plant many more trees with the collaboration of these partners. And we are also hoping to collect more and more partners as we reach our target of 1 million trees in 2024. We have also other related initiatives such as afcdalu.com, which is our sustainability web portal. We have opened this up to showcase our sustainability projects. But also, if anyone is interested, any party who is interested can go to this site and donate to our tree planting program, which is undertaken by the trust and which is audited by KPMG. So we are very much keen to get the collaboration of the other partners as well. And the other initiative we have taken up very recently is the tree planting progress tracking app and the website development for RBS Magade Pasaturu Sevana. This is the 2 million tree planting project, and we are the financing partner for this app and the website. Also, I would like to talk about this innovative program project of ours. This is gas converted three-wheelers. This is actually a product that we offer to our customers. So this is a product designed with Dutch technology with a company called Viale in Netherlands. And for the pilot project, we have developed 100 units, and it is set to have a reduction of 10% CO2 emissions and 30 to 40% reduction in other hazardous gases. We have tested this three-wheeler for over 2 years on the ground, and we have found that it has a significant cost savings to the customers compared to petrol run three-wheelers. So we consider it as a greener and a more economical transport solution. And at the moment, the pilot program is ongoing in Anuradhapura region. Biodiversity conservation, I think before me, Shirani has given a very comprehensive, very interesting introduction to this project, and we are very glad to be a part of the same. So I'm not going to talk more about much about that because she gave us a very comprehensive idea about the project. So we have joined.
You have 2 minutes left. You have 2 minutes left.
So it is very fascinating. The fascinating fact about this project for us was that we were able to name 2 of the female leopards they have encountered during the project phase. One is Nala and the other one is Nina. I think Sharani has also shown Nina, and now Nina has cubs too. So it's very heartening that our initiatives, our contributions help this kind of conservations and biodiversity ecosystem restoration projects. So these are the UN SDGs that we contribute with all of the projects that I have shown you. And we are very keen to undertake more projects with new partners, new projects, new initiatives, and contribute more towards many more, unlock the other SDGs as well, and contribute more towards sustainable development. So this is the final slide of my presentation. Before winding up, I would like to say that all of us here today are united to achieve a common goal, that is to create a sustainable world, a better world. So I think with correct partnerships, correct interventions, and efforts, it's very much possible for all of us. So let us join hands to create the world we want to live in together. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and if you have any questions, you can ask, and I wish you a pleasant rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Chanuka. Chanuka will take the questions later at the end of the session, if that's okay with everyone.
Thank you.
Yes, and Amra, would you like to share the screen again? So our next presenter is going to be okay. It's our initiating partner, Dilma Conservation, and for that reason, I would like to call Ms. Shamodi Nanakara, Manager, Dilma Conservation, and their topic is going to be generating ecological wealth through a nature corridor. So Shamodi, it's over to you.
Sorry, Hanan, there was a little bit of a technical difficulty. Let me get my screen up quickly. Hanan, hope you can see my screen and I'm audible.
Yes, everything is clear, Shamodi, you can go ahead.
Right. So yeah, I'm also bringing into the same forest restoration topic. So there's been really good case studies that I've been listening to now, and this has been declared as the decade of restoration. And among the decade of restoration, this decade is going to be many of other things as well. This is the decade that will determine how far we have come or how far we have achieved the Sustainable Development Goals. And this decade is going to be deciding whether we have succeeded as corporates managing our emissions well below 2 degrees. So there's a huge responsibility among the shoulders of the corporate as well for to determine what's going to be the face of the next decade of the planet Earth. So I'm going to share, like Endana Nature Corridor, I'm pretty sure for the people who are in the Biodiversity Sri Lanka Forum is not a new thing. This project is now aged, now we are concluding the successful 4th year of the project. Talking a little bit more about the forest restoration, it has, in an international scale, there are about, as an estimation, there are about 350 million hectares of aquatic and terrestrial land ecosystems to be restored. That has, again, an estimated 9 trillion ecosystems, USDs in ecosystem services, the potential of generation. This has also estimated an average amount of 24 gigatons of greenhouse gas restoration capacity. Before moving into the details of the project or the initiative, I would also like to make the note of that cost of inaction is 3 times greater than the cost of restoration or the cost of recovery. Cost of restoration or the conservation, but I'm pretty sure that this forum here is very well known to that factor and accepted and group that is working towards. So thank you, BSL, for giving this opportunity again and again to share our lessons together. So as many of you mentioned, our project also underpinned by many of the national and international agreements and policies, namely IPBES and then IPCC, and nationally the NBSAPs and the National Adaptation Plan 2016 to 2030. So, but there are like larger corporates taking this forest restoration in a serious way, named to be like Toyota International has this 2050 restoration challenge, and corporates like Nike partner with other environmental organizations like WeForest to contribute to better forest restoration international scale. So likewise, Dilma has partnered up for this initiative. There are some in the audience also like Responded Ceylon, that we work in hand in hand, contributing to SDG 17 Partnership for Goals. This project, apart from the SDG 17, contributes to the goal 8, 15, and 13. So, importance of rewilding Endana, why we considered it as something which is important. This estate, this land plot that we're talking about belongs to an estate in Gavatta Plantations in Ratnapura, and we are talking about 2 fragmented forested. One is located directly in the outer perimeter of Singaraja Forest Complex, and because we identified the monoculture has resulted this fragmentation, and because of the influence of Singaraja, this would have been a very biodiversity rich with high species richness patch. We thought of uprooting our tea plants, accommodating to connect these 2 fragmented forest patches, Iarakanda and Valankanda, and celebrating the beginning of the new year in 2018, our chairman, Mr. Merrill J. Fernando, uprooted tea plants, facilitating 60 hectares of a forest corridor in the coming years to be established. So if I talk about the highlights, so far we have throughout the baseline, we found that there are about 200 species of fauna and out of which 34 species of fauna is endemic. And out of the 34, 20 is categorized under threatened species based on their conservation status. And this account to a total of 17% of the fauna that we found out, and there are about 60 floral species that has a significance. After we recognize this species richness of the patch, even though it was not in the previous project implementation plan, we accommodated a permanent forest research station dedicated for Endana Forest, Endana Forest Nature Corridor. We established that by renovating existing bungalow, and we appointed a dedicated forest coordinator, project coordinator for the nature corridor, and for him to deal with other stakeholders and the research and everything. And that has impacted the success rate of the story immensely. So the recent discovery, even though we completed our baseline in latter part of the 2018, implementing the project second phase in 2019, we continue to estimate the ecosystem valuation or the ecosystem services that the project will yield, and that is recorded for 60 hectares that we have established now. Is about above 67 million rupees. Quoting from our principal scientists of this project, it is very important to account the value of the ecosystem services coming from the restoration activity is very important to facilitate other restoration activities that other parties would be conducting, and to create a economic case for this forest restoration, to see the value that they would create, otherwise intangible. So that is why we have estimated this value along with the carbon sequestration potential, the soil carbon restoration, and other many parameters. But I've added a few highlights only. So this is the project timeline, how it has evolved with the timeline of 4 years, starting from the founders planting the tree time to creating digital boundaries and working with e-forest mapping with other international entities for the Endana plantation, Endana Nature Corridor. Plus, the success of this restoration activity, as any other restoration activities presented here today, I think is the collaboration between the different entities. So stakeholders has very important part to play, and we've recognized that identifying the stakeholders and assigning a meaningful role for them to play in the initiative is very important for the long-term sustainability. So we work with scientific communities, the principal investigators, and they bring, and we have created a win-win situation. We contributed to so far about 7 students completing their final year graduation with adding something meaningful to Endana Nature Corridor. And we have published based on this, that is the scientific base of it. But beyond that, we have collaborating with the governmental organizations like the Divisional Secretariat, and then the NBRO, Department of Wildlife, Forest Department, and other entities that are relevant and required for the success of this initiative. And last but not the least, are the corporates and the plantation management itself. The communities, both the plantation and the village communities, the local community. So they each have a role to play in this. Little bit more into the activities. I will share one of the obstacles that we face. One of the obstacles that we faced, the conservation when we initiated the project, is the land encroachment. And we also recognize the conservation significance of this initiative. That's why we went ahead and appointed
you have 2 minutes left.
Coordinator with the nurseries and everything. Plus, we to solve the encroachment issue, what we did was we created a livelihood, alternative livelihood for the people of the community. That is beekeeping and also organic home gardening, even though it has nothing to do with the forest nature corridor. Identifying that would create livelihood opportunities for the communities will genuinely create an interest among them. And previously, among the plantation communities, we just distributed for the selected people and then trained them, but it did not work. Then we recognized, we started giving them as a reward for the best performing employees. Then others also got interested because then they see it as a point of empowerment. So that is something that we practically experienced. And but on the larger picture, these kind of success stories, in the NH corridor, our work with the ETH and the carbon neutral story, and all these things that Dilma has been doing has forced us to relook at our brand ecosystem. We call this as the brand ecosystem. You can clearly see the sustainability elements, both social and environmental, plus the advocacy and these lessons sharing sessions that we do has come into the main picture of the business as the key element. So that is one of the achievements that I see as a contribution of these kind of restoration initiative. So to leave with you something, I've quoted Arundhati Roy in a very beautiful, the pandemic is a portal, because when we talk about these days, green recovery initiatives or forest restoration initiatives, the last 24 months has been very tough on all of us as individuals and also as companies. But it is indeed a portal, and then it is an eye-opener that also the recent sixth assessment of IPCC is an eye-opener that everybody realize that underpinned by the economic disruption and political arena, the gender equality and all these things, there's a greater force of climate emergency in action. So this is the time that we need to take into account the ecological ecosystem value of these restoration activities and move forward, considering these as core activities of our businesses. And thank you so much for giving this opportunity, BSL, once again. Have a good day.
Thank you, Shamodis, and thank you very much for partnering with us all the time. So, Samiha, if you can just again spin the wheel to see who is the next presenter. Great. It's again one of our patron members, HSBC. So they will be talking about conservation efforts at Horton Plain and Peak Wilderness. So for that reason, I like to call Dilni Fernando, Corporate Sustainability Manager. Dilni,
yes,
hi.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear or can you see my presentation?
I can see your presentation and we can clearly hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll switch off the video to manage the bandwidth. Good morning, everyone. My name is Dilini. I'm from the Corporate Sustainability team. It is a privilege to be connected with all of you today to share our conservation efforts in Horton Plains and Peak Wilderness. I would like to thank Biodiversity Sri Lanka at the outset for giving us the opportunity. HSBC, under its corporate sustainability initiatives, have been supporting 3 World Heritage sites, namely Horton Plains, Peak Wilderness, and Knuckles. For closer to 20 years, we have been supporting the conservation efforts in Horton Plains, and for 10 years in Peak Wilderness. We have been fortunate to work with the Department of Wildlife throughout and International Union for Conservation of Nature. This has been one of our long-standing partnerships, and we are proud to be part of this initiative for over 20 years. As you already know, Horton Plains is one of the highly visited national parks by local and international tourists, and Peak Wilderness is visited by pilgrims annually. Both parks are under threat, primarily due to the anthropogenic activities, including the haphazard disposal of waste by visitors. Our involvement in Horton Plains and peak wilderness.
Dirini, can I just interrupt you
Yes.
for a minute?
Yes.
Dirini, if you can switch on to the presentation mode, it will be great so everyone can clearly read your presentation slides.
Okay.
Thank you. That's great.
Is it clear? Okay, right. So our work in Horton Plains is we have been working with the International Union for Conservation of Nature to develop material and also educating visitors on wildlife resources through signage boards and supporting the garbage disposal program. In 2015, we also supported the conservation efforts at Knuckles. This was one of the initiatives we did with BSL and IUCN to support the local communities, agriculture, and the local economy of both the Puakpitia mini shed and of the watershed area. Horton Plains is a cloud forest in the Central Highlands, which is identified as the most important watershed in Sri Lanka by the International Union for Conservation of Nature in a study conducted in 1997. Three of the major rivers, Walaway, Kalani, and Mahavali, originate from Horton Plains. The park is home to an extraordinary range of flora and fauna, including several endangered species, such as the western purple-faced langur, the Horton Plains slender loris, and Sri Lankan leopard. Horton Plains consist of two distinct vegetation, montane grasslands and evergreen forests with nearly 700 species of plants being recorded, of which 27 are endemic to Sri Lanka. Horton Plains also forms an important bird area together with Ohia, Pattipola and Ambevela, and contains 21 endemic bird species with 4 endemic to Horton Plains alone. On the other hand, the Peak Wilderness Sanctuary includes some of the least disturbed sub-montane and montane rainforests in Sri Lanka and is considered as a super biodiversity hotspot. They say that the area contains a large proportion of the country's endemic species, and a small herd of elephants is reported to still reside in the sanctuary. Let's now look at how we have supported both parks as mentioned before. HSBC supported the Ministry of Environment, who took the initiative to develop a visitor management plan together with the Department of Wildlife Conservation and Forest Department for Central Highland cereal properties. So one of the needs that they identified by this initiative is the lack of educational awareness and interpretation materials on the World Heritage cereal properties. The project supported by HSBC facilitated the production of a series of resource material on each component of the World Heritage Site, which ultimately contributed to better management and conservation of these areas. These awareness materials raised awareness on the World Heritage cereal properties amongst the local community, including school children who visit the park and managers of the sites who need to learn about the long-term conservation and wise use of the World Heritage sites. We have also installed signage boards along the walkway to educate visitors with on-site information in Horton Plains. These are some of the signage boards which are in place. These actually act as a reminder on how their behavior can impact the environment and share best practices which will be useful during and after their visit. As mentioned before, garbage disposal was a huge concern due to heavy use of plastic and polythene by the visitors who visit the park. Animals such as sambar deer used to consume polythene and choke to death. There was an incident once where there were 8 sambar deaths per week. I'm talking about the period during 1999 before HSBC took on the project. The ponds, there were plastic bottles floating in the pond, and the crow population in the park alarmingly increased. The Department of Wildlife was heavily criticized regularly in media for the state of the park. It was during this time HSBC stepped in to support. The project has also enabled many employment opportunities in the area. There is a very strong working relationship between the park officials and the community. There are livelihood opportunities created, and the community is actively involved in the maintenance work, visitor education program, and also other engagements. So this is a huge success for all of us because it has not only helped to manage the park, but it has also created many employment opportunities, which has also given the community the ownership to look after these World Heritage sites. The proud moments and key achievements. I'm very proud to say that HSBC was the first private sector entity to support the pioneering work of the Department of Wildlife in 1999. It has been a very successful partnership for over 20 years, where we have invested more than 100 million on the projects thus far. And it is without the support and all the implementing partners of the project, this would have not been a success. The DWC is very appreciative of the support extended, which has helped to keep the park in pristine condition. And I've been also told that this is the longest partnership they have had. We have also educated more than 1 million visitors who visit Horton Plains and Peak Wilderness, and which has also helped to increase their knowledge on environment conservation. It is also good to note that there have not been any recent records of sambar deaths due to plastics. We have also been able to reduce 90% of plastic waste scattered and dumped within parks.
You have 2 minutes left.
More than 5,000 kilograms of plastic is being collected, and we are now connected with a recycling mechanism. The way forward. We are now looking at a more sustainable approach for Horton Plains and Peak Wilderness. As I mentioned, we are looking at a sustainable mechanism to recycle some of the plastics that have been collected. HSBC also continues to support Department of Wildlife and the Forest Department through our latest project under our Climate Initiative Partnership, where we committed 48 million for 4 years to create a climate smart opportunities through restoration and education project, a first of its kind science-backed restoration initiative in Tantirimale, and this will be for over a period of 4 years. HSBC also recently launched a research report for the apparel sector, this is also one of its first in Sri Lanka, where we have developed certain good practices the apparel sector could adopt to move into a low carbon transition. These are some of the activities that we hope to conduct in the next few years and which have been concluded to support the conservation efforts. Thank you very much once again, BSL, for the opportunity given, and happy to take any questions if there's any at the end of the session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dilani. That was a really good presentation. And participants, if you have any questions, what you can do is that you can put it in the chat box. So at the end of the session, we can just ask the relevant parties. Thank you very much. So Samiha, if you can just. So, okay, it's our patron member again, Jetwin Hotels. And it will be a joint presentation by Mr. Charma Ramasinghe, naturalist, Jetwin Yala, and Lahiru Rajapaksha, naturalist, Jetwin Kadukethra. So the presentation, the titles will be Enriching Turtle Habitats in Yala Beach and Farming with Nature at the Heart. So Chamara and Lahiru, it's over to you.
Thank you very much. I'm Chamara here from Jetwin Yala. So thank you very much for Biodiversity Sri Lanka for giving us this opportunity. Here I'm going to present conservation and the research project of Jetwin Yala, which have been done in the Yala Beach. So Jetwin Yala, we have been started in 2014 at the beach stretch of Yala. And in 2015, we have been identified that this beach stretch is good for turtles. We have been observed several species of the turtles are coming into the beach in front of our hotel and they lay eggs. But unfortunately, we have been identified that it has been highly threatened by the seasonal egg collectors because we have 2 fishing villages either side of our hotel. And there is some stray dogs and the domestic dogs are hanging around those places, and they also disturb the turtle nest. So that is a severe effect for their survival. And then we were thought about to have a conservation project in terms of turtle conservation, and we have been declared at 2 kilometers of the stretch in front of our hotel, and we have been declared that we stretch as the turtle conservation site. And then over the 7 years, we have been monitored at the beach stretch since 2015, and up to now, over the 7 years, we have been released more than 1,100 hatchlings into the sea. So in that term, we have been practicing in situ conservation, which what we have done was just cover the turtle nest by iron cages. We have not taken out the dig or taken out the eggs. Then after evaluating by our effort by the wildlife department, conservation of wildlife department in Sri Lanka, they have given us a turtle hatchery that completely managed by them. It's not managed by Jetwin Yala, it's completely managed by wildlife department. So they have been installed it just few meters away from our breeding sites, and whatever they trade, whatever the people who captured, and they take their eggs and buried in the turtle hatchery. Then we have started our research because the temperature is a critical factor of the reptile survival. Then we have been identified that so they have been threatened, and we are practicing 2 conservation systems. One is exitive and the other one is in situ conservation. So we thought to came up with an idea to evaluate the temperature of the egg clusters. What's the differentiation between the natural nest and the relocated nest? So our main idea, our objective was to understand the differentiation between 2 different conservation systems, and also these temperature variation. If there is any temperature variation, if it is
impact for their survival and the growth. So that is the main objective of our the research. So there we have been monitored one season from November 2019 to April 2020, and we have selected one species. Even though we have recorded 4 species of turtle, we have selected one species, or olive ridley turtle, and we have set 2 eye buttons for each nest on top of the egg cluster and underneath of the egg cluster to calculate the temperature. Each and every 4 hours we have calculated the temperature of the incubation temperature of the nest, and the nesting sample was 4 samples, 2 in the natural habitat and other 2 in the relocated the nest. So evaluate after hatchlings are releasing into the sea, we have measured 5 hatchlings to get the 6 morphological characters as shown in the other screen. We have calculated few morphological characters to evaluate their growth, if there is any difference between natural and the relocated nest. Then for all collecting the data, we have been analyzed through the statistical software called SPSS and the ANOVA. And then this is the result what we have got from the research. So there is a small variation, but there is no significant differentiation between the relocated nest and the natural nest, as we shown in this the graph. So it has been varied by only 3.19% when it's come to mean temperature of all incubation period. The maximum mean temperature is varied by 3.59 and minimum mean temperature is varied by 5.17. Altogether, it's 3.19. And then this is the growth analysis of our research. So if you go through these the table, you can see there is no any difference, significant differentiation to notable in this chart when it's come to relocated and the natural nest. And then here there is a small difference between natural and the relocated nest. The relocated nests are given similar kind of gender the reduction, whereas natural nests given 30% of male and 70% of female. However, so analyzing all the research, what we have been understanding is, if there is no any requirement to have a conservation project or the artificial turtle hatchery, best thing is to manage them there on site, go for the in situ conservation other than take the action for the executive conservation, because the turtle hatchery has been located few meters away from the natural habitat, where we try to give the maximum features and the temperature and everything what a natural nest is getting. So there we have not getting any much differentiation between natural and the relocated nest as is shown in the presentation. So this is our conclusion when it comes to the hatcheries and the relocated nest. So if I'm giving you another advice, so better leave it as it is. If there is no any threat for these the natural the nest. And then as we share the same time with Jetwin Kaduruketa, Lahiru Rajapaksa, who's naturalist for Jetwin Kaduruketa, I'm handing over the time to Lahiru Rajapaksa. Lahiru, so you can take over the rest of the time for your presentation. Thank you.
All right. So I hope everybody can see my presentation.
Yes, we can see it.
All right. So this project at Jetwin Kaduruketa is all about converting commercial paddyland to an organic paddyland and benefit both nature and the surrounding community. So start with the presentation. I will do a small introduction about Jetwin Kaduruketa. Kaduruketa is Sri Lanka's first major agritourism based luxury resort, which is situated in Vallabaya. And in Jetwin Kaduruketa, we have our own 50 acres of paddy field, which is called Kaduruketa. That's how we got that name, Kaduruketa. So moving towards our organic agriculture at Kaduruketa, in 2018, we started converting our commercial paddyland into organic paddyland by converting 25 acres of commercial paddyland at first. So I'm happy to announce today our all 50 acres of Chetring Kadurugata paddyland is cultivated 100% organically, and we are certified under SLSI Organic Agriculture and Production Processing Process. So if I talk about the organic heirloom rice varieties, I think the organic heirloom rice varieties are kind of hot topic in these days. These heirloom rice are, I would say, olden rice, which has proven medical and nutritional benefits compared to commercial rice cultivars. So in our journey to going truly organic, our objective was, first one is to remodel Kadurugata rice farming model, which means we are converting commercial paddy farming into organic paddy farming. And also our main idea was to protect and improve our surrounding agro-ecosystem as we are dealing with our surrounding ecosystem. And also we needed to supply healthy organic rice to Jetwing Family's Hotel. You might know, but if you go to a Jetwing hotel, if you order rice, it's rice from Jetwing Kadurugata. So we provide rice for all Jetwing properties in Sri Lanka from our Kadurugata paddyland. And also we need to be support our surrounding farming families by sharing the benefits with them. And also ultimately we needed to be a role modeling organic traditional rice farming in Sri Lanka. So in our journey in organic farming, so today most people think that organic farming is all about using organic fertilizer to your paddy field or your cultivation, that's all. But it's not about using only organic fertilizer. It's all about incorporating our surrounding biodiversity and processing it to our agriculture process. So in our farming methods, first we are using both traditional and also now mechanical farming practices to our paddy field and our process there. And also we are using biological control for our
2 minutes left.
and weed controlling in our paddy field. And also we are using soil enrichment using interseason crops like green gram and pea. As you know, those are nitrogen fixation plant. And talking about the challenges we had. So the first thing is changing the mindset of the farmer itself is a different and difficult task to do, because the organic agriculture is kind of labor intensive compared to the commercial farming, and we did that mindset changing by awareness and workshop with the farmers. And also we need to find effective methods to control pests and weeds, because there are no perfect methods to control weeds compared to the commercial farming. And also we needed to control insects attack during rice storage, because our rice doesn't including any preservative, the insects are prone to attack to our rice. And also finally we needed to go for green packaging options, because if we are using polythene packaging for that, it's not green. So we had to use reusable bags for our packaging options. So talking about the benefits to our mother nature, when we are going to the organic farming, we are reducing the exposure to pesticides and chemicals in our organic farming. And also we are improving the soil health and water quality by supporting for soil organisms, and also less accumulation in heavy metals in the soil. And also we are conserving the water and monitoring the water quality in our discharge water. And as we are incorporating with our biodiversity and being a part of that, we are creating and conserving habitats for the surrounding biodiversity and the creatures about on it. And also we are preserving the food chains. So the final one, we are trying to mitigate impacts on global warming by reducing greenhouse gases, by not using pesticide, less usage of machineries, less tillage, and also no burning anything inside the paddy field, and also doing crop rotations. So these are some of the biodiversity data and water quality parameters we have collected on these years by our previous naturalist and myself. So as you can see, the water quality, there are no heavy metals inside of that, and the biodiversity is kind of high in and around the agro ecosystem. So going a step ahead from the conventional organic cultivation forward, by Farmers Private Limited, where we have incorporated farming. So we are benefit sharing with their families and the next generation by creating a knowledge hub called Farmer Field School, as you can see in this image. And we are trying to reaching for international markets to market our Sri Lankan traditional rice and bring our heritage to the world. And also we are safekeeping Sri Lanka's traditional rice and farming practice, as you can see, the Devadane and also Alutsahal Mangale. Those are our traditional things practices generations ago. And also we are trying to establish and market agritourism in Sri Lanka, which is not much popular in Sri Lanka, but we are trying to market our agro-ecotourism in Sri Lanka. And thank you very much for BioDiversity Sri Lanka for having us and showcase our projects, and handing over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jitwin, and thank you, Chalmer and Lahiru, for that wonderful joint presentation. To see who is the next presenter, we have Kalni Vele and Dimo. So we'll see who is the next presenter. Okay, great. Our general member, Kalni Valley Plantations, they will present their case studies on watershed management and biodiversity enhancement in Yati Yantota Budat Kohupitiya. For that reason, she's already here. Kushani Rajapaksa will enlighten you with her case studies, and she is the Assistant Manager, Sustainability and Resource Development.
Good morning all. Hope you all can hear me, and I'll keep my camera off during the presentation to maintain the quality of the presentation. And let me share my screen. As Hanan introduced me, I'm Kushani Rajapaksa from Kalni Valley Plantations, and I'm working as Assistant Manager Sustainability for KVPL. And today I'm going to share a few points about some initiatives and projects of our company with regard to watershed management and biodiversity enhancement, which we have done in estate level. And here's the company overview. Let me point out a few details which are relevant to today's topic. We are managing over 13,000 hectares of land, which is consist of tea, rubber, cinnamon, coconut, and other minor plantation crops and forest areas as well. And altogether, we are managing 25 estates, which are located in Nuwara, Nanuoy, Atiyantota, and Bulatkuhupitiya area. And we have nearly 10,000 of workforce, and we are operating tea and rubber manufacturing factories as well. And this is our sustainable business model, which covers all three pillars of sustainability. When considering the environment pillar, we have several international certifications. All our tea estates are RA certified, and all our rubber estates are FSC certified. And some of our rubber plantations has USDA, NOP, and EU organic certifications as well. And other than the certifications, we are always in line with good agriculture practices and committed to CEO's water mandate, and always give our priority to biodiversity conservation. And let me explain you the importance of our land area. All the land extent we are managing is situated in wet zone of the country, and most of them are in upper highlands. And those are the catchment areas of main water sources of the country. Since our lands are located in such areas, several biodiversity hotspots also situated within our estates. And with over 13,000 hectares of land under our management located in highly sensitive areas of the country, we are always put our fullest effort to protect and conserve the environment across our estates. And as a plantation company, our main business operation, which is agriculture, is depend on the natural environment and as well as the climate. So sustainable management of our environment and ecosystem is a main and important point in our business, and all our business policies and strategies are always give priority to the environmental protection and conservation activities. And now I'll go through some key activities which we have done pertaining to biodiversity conservation. As an initial step, we have started to map our estates using GIS, and by that we were able to identify the existing resources in our estates, such as forest areas, water sources, conservation areas, etc. And another key activity is biodiversity assessment. We have completed biodiversity assessment of all our estates in last year, and we hope to do biodiversity assessments in every 5 years, which is a reasonable time period for changing biodiversity within our estates. And now we have the list of plant species available in our estates, and also the wildlife inventory of our estates. And by this biodiversity assessment, we have identified several threatened and endangered species live within our estates, and we have implemented several conservation and protection programs in estate level to protect those species within their natural ecosystems. And also we have identified HCV areas available within our estate by doing HCV assessment parallel to this biodiversity assessment. And these areas are the environmentally and socially sensitive areas located within our estates, and we have monitoring programs and a protection plan for each and every HCV area we have identified. And let's move to the today's topic or the projects I'm going to speak about. And here I'm going to speak about 2 projects which we have conducted in 2019 and 20 in terms of watershed management and biodiversity conservation. One is a kumbuk tree planting project in watersheds in our low country estates, and Plant Trees, Plant Life project, which we have conducted in 2019 at Urumiwala Estate, Bulatkopitia. Both projects are, we have conducted both projects in our low country estate, which is in Yatyantota and Bulatkopitia area. And this kumbuk tree planting project, this was conducted in line with the catchment protection program. And as I mentioned you earlier, there are several water catchment areas situated within our estates, as we are located in wet zone and very sensitive areas of the country. And here we have mainly focused on the main water catchment of the Bulatkopitia water supply. And by this project, we have planted 2,000 kumbuk trees across the 12 estates in low country estates. And only in Bulatkopitia water catchment, we have planted 400 kumbuk plants. For this project, BOSIP Water Supply and Sanitation Improvement Project was partnered with us. And here are some photographs of the project, the initial day, and the plants a few months after planting. And in this project, estates are the responsible party to take care of plants until they become big enough to survive in the natural environment. And as I mentioned you earlier, the main objective of this project is to catchment protection in Yatyantota and Bulatkopitia area. And this is another project which we have conducted to enhance the biodiversity within our estates. This we call Plant Tree, Plant Life project. This project was conducted in Urumiwala Estate, Bulatkopitia. Here we have planted 10,000 of native species, especially fruit species. And for this project, we have partnered with Church of Ceylon Diocese of Colombo, and children from several schools from Colombo also participated for the project initiated day. And the trees we have planted here includes Kumbu, Karanda, Kukumba, Mi, Hos, and the fruit species like Veralu, Anoda, Mango, Domba, etc. And the land area we have used for this project is about 12 hectares in extent, and it was a rubber planted land earlier, and now we have dedicated that 12 hectares of land to regenerate a natural forest area. And by contributing to this project, our main objective is to enhance the biodiversity of the area, not only the plant species, but also the increase of animal and bird species by planting fruit trees in this area. And we hope that will improve the quality of life of local people live within the plantation community in that area by enhancing the biodiversity and environment of that area. And with the time limitation, that's all. That's a brief information about projects and initiatives we have undertaken in estate level in Can Valley Plantation. And thank you all for listening to my presentation, and thank you Biodiversity Sri Lanka for giving this opportunity to showcase our projects in your technical session, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Kushani, for your presentation. So I'd like to move to the next presentation. Last but not least, it's one of our patron members, BSL and Motor Engineering PLC. So Miss Sandhani Gunawardana, Executive Risk and Sustainability, she will be presenting on Demo's Life to Reef, bringing majestic realms under the sea to life.
Good morning, Hannah. I hope I'm audible. You can see my video and you can see my screen.
Yes, but the audio is not that clear. I think you can, if you can, you can switch off your camera.
Yes,
to make
I
sure.
think
Yeah.
that would be better.
Great. Thanks, Sandhani. Thank you.
All right. I hope now it's much better.
Yes, you can go ahead, Sandhani.
Great. Okay. I think now it's good afternoon, everyone, and it's actually a pleasure to be here today. I'm Sandhani Gunawardana, and I'm representing the sustainable team of DEMO, and currently working as an executive in risk and sustainability. Today we are presenting you a very novel initiative that we have been doing for quite some time now. That is DEMO's Life to Reef project. And before I begin my presentation, let me acknowledge all of the keynote speakers and the presentations that has been done so far. And I think we would all agree how inspirational it has been. And for myself, I think I definitely learned a lot, and we should definitely thank the Biodiversity Sri Lanka for giving us this platform, as well to inspire and to be inspired as well from this platform. So as the last presentation, the keynote speech, let me keep this very short and also present you this in a manner that is very comprehensible, even though you may not really have the technical background to understanding the corals and also the ecosystem of that particular special species that we are looking at. So if you have any questions, of course, you can drop in the chat box. And also, since I'm not much going to be focused about the technical aspects, of course, we'll be very much happy to share you any other technical materials and progress reports with you following this presentation. So if you can reach out to us as well. So yes, let's begin sharing about the DEMO's Life to Reef initiative, where we are bringing majestic realms under the sea to life. So our project enabler is also here today, which is a representative from the Wildlife and Ocean Resource Conservation. So we have been closely working with the Wildlife and Ocean Resource Conservation since 2012 with the Turtle Conservation Project in Panama. I think there was few queries directed towards commercial bank regarding that same project. So we all have been in this project now for quite some time, and we have, from 2012, we have seen greater impact and progress in terms of our impact to Sustainable Development Goal number 14, life below water. So that journey that we started in 2012 in terms of impacting this particular goal inspired us, and also made us realize how passionate we are, not only us, but also not only the sustainability team, the top management, but also our own employees, the tribe members, we say. So all of us are very much passionate about the particular goal. So this is this initiative that I'm presenting to you is something that we all have been like very much interested and also passionate about participating and continuing from 2017. So this is our 5th successful year of continuing the library project in Momasalam. So let me give you a very brief like an introduction to my company. Sure, you know Diesel and Motor Insurance. You mostly must have heard it as DEMO. So at DEMO, like what do we mean by sustainability, and what are the frontiers that we are executing sustainability as well? So yes, let me take the approach in this way. That sustainability is something that we say that is in our DNA, and something that we actually focus as a corporate organization to show responsible leadership. So from the moment that a DEMO tribe member gets recruited for the company, we make sure that all of us are incorporating that mindset of how important it is to have sustainability, and also to look at your day-to-day job role in a much more different way, so that the job role that you are executing as well, you can make it sustainable. And the employees are having that culture to bring initiatives and also different suggestions as to how we can improve on that as well. So the sustainability initiatives is something that is being inspired and driven by our purpose, and we are identifying the requirement for sustainability and embedded the sustainability into our corporate strategy in a way that the daily interactions with our stakeholders, that is based on our corporate values and of course the purpose, is that we are identifying different impacts that us as DEMO might be impacting on our stakeholders. So we have identified these 3 frontiers as to how we are going to make that interactions, make those impacts a much more positive and a much more inspiring to our stakeholders to be more sustainable, to have a positive impact. So let me take you through this. It will be a very short or brief understanding, but I'm sure it will give you some sort of an understanding. So yes, we'll first look at the sustainable entrepreneurship. Now, when it comes to sustainable entrepreneurship, I said that DEMO is focused about sustainability in the corporate strategy itself as a part of our differentiation strategy, how we present DEMO as a very unique organization from those of the other corporate citizens in Sri Lanka. So in here, what we are focusing is under the sustainable entrepreneurship, not only that we are focused about managing our own day-to-day impacts and creating a voluntary investment, but we are focusing about our product portfolio, the solutions that we are bringing to Sri Lankans and to the global market being sustainable. So I could give you a few examples. I think I'm sure you must be familiar with most of them as well. That is, we are the projects that we're executing, and we have been proud partners for the wind power project in Mannar, and we have been a pioneer in the solar energy, and of course the water management solutions that we have been bringing from DEMO. And of course, I think most of you are very familiar with a Mercedes, an exclusive product that DEMO is providing to Sri Lankans. So from that, we are providing the plug-in hybrids, and of course other construction machineries that we are providing to Sri Lankans, we make sure all of these will actually have the sustainability embedded in that product that we are offering. So that is one aspect of our sustainability performance, or the sustainability avenue. The other one is impact management. Now, when it comes to impact management, we're very focused about managing our own impacts in the day-to-day operations, and of course from the products that we have sold as well. So product stewardship is very much important component when it comes to this. And another thing would be that we have comprehensive management systems that are being ISO certified. So we make sure that our impacts arising from our operations and the products that we sold on society, environment, and the economy is much more sustainable, and we are being responsible in terms of managing these impacts as well. Finally, this is the initiative that I'm going to present to you today is actually a part of the voluntary investments. So these are whereas DEMO pursues independent or else self-motivated projects that creates a positive reinforcement on the society and the environment, where there's no regulational or any other business case for us to actually expand, volunteer and to execute all these initiatives. So this is something that we've been doing with the participation of our DEMO tribe, along with our top management's very much enthusiasm. So I'm presenting you today one initiative that comes under this, which is Life to Read. Moving on. Yes. So I'm sure now this audience is very much passionate about sustainability. So when we are talking about sustainability, life below water or the oceans, the ecosystem that exists is something that we all will definitely not forget to have some sort of a background understanding, some sort of an awareness. But for today's purpose, I wanted, with the limited time, I want to briefly take you through this and to give you some sort of background to why what is the importance that DEMO sees in terms of this coral restoration project, the background to it. So let me put it in this way. So the utmost or the very much simple way for me to put this in is that the corals we say is the rainforest in the ocean. So that itself speaks for how important it is, right? So we say now we are very much familiar and we know that how important the tropical rainforests are there on land. But corals we say is a rainforest in the ocean. Why? Because of its richness of life. So these corals, so they particularly referring to the Buona Vista reef of Rumasala. So these actually act as a feeding and a breeding ground for many of the species in the ocean, impacting the humankind as well. I think we have a very limited time, so let me quickly take you through. And of course, we are looking at the marine pollutant and human activities been affecting this, and of course, the global warming, climate change, and diseases of the coral reefs. So this I have included the direct and the indirect indirect impacts that arises as to why the restoration of the corals is very much important. So when we speak about the project background to Rumasala, we are identifying 3 main reefs in Galle district. So that is the Galle Port Reef, Klosenberg Reef, and the Buona Vista Reef in Rumasala. So out of these 3 reefs, we have identified that the Buona Vista Reef in Rumasala is consisting out of the highest diversity, therefore carries the most importance. But this reef has been affected over the period due to El Nino, and also you know that the plastics, polythene, and the fish nets and other related human activities, the extent to which it impacts the sustainability or the healthy existence of this particular reef. So if you look at now, from 1998, the El Ninos has been affecting, but then again in the 2016, we are seeing the greatest destruction, whereas the live coral coverage has been reduced to 5%. Now, when we were undertaking this project, the reef was turned white because there were no existing live corals, or there was only 5% of it. And the livelihood that existed in the Rumasala or the Jungle Beach, that area where the Buona Vista Reef existed, was significantly affected as well. So it was not just the environmental impact, also the community around this project area was also, the project site was also massively affected when we undertook this project in 2016. Hanan, I hope it's okay for me to continue. I think the time is up.
It is up, Sandhani. What we can do is we can give you a minute or two extra if we haven't covered a lot.
Okay, all right. So let me quickly take you through the, thank you, Hanan. Let me quickly take you through the project activities. So we are looking at, now when we undertook this project, we particularly looked at reef and beach cleaning activities that has been done with the involvement of the Wildlife and Ocean Resource Conservation, DEMO tribe members, and of course the community itself, which has been a really special component. And then, of course, we have been restoring the corals by using different scientific methods and trying and inventing other methods as well. So we mainly looked at using the concrete slabs, steel racks, and also using the coral fragments that has been collected, whereas collected during the reef cleaning activities. And of course, in other than that, we also have a coral nursery that where we get the coral fragments for planting, and of course the community support that is very much important for us in carrying out this project, whereas the livelihoods has been sustained around this Buena Vista the project site. So we have actually conducted few for instead of using the anchors that damages the reef, we have installed these so that the boats will actually use this as well. And other than that, we have been providing continuous awareness and education in terms of preserving this Buena Vista reef and contributing to the sustainability of the restoration activities. And finally, we've been also monitoring the performances and how we've been doing in terms of the restoration purposes. So I'm finally looking at and presenting you the milestones that we have been achieving. So we have so far restored 2,000 plus coral fragments. And we have completed 4 DEMO volunteer visits from 2017 with the participation of our top management and the families of our DEMO tribe members. And when we talk about the biodiversity around this reef, is that when we first started the project, we had 30 reef fish species identified, but now it has been increased to 130, and with butterfly species being identified, angel fish species being identified, and also we are very excited to say that we have also spotted 2 turtle species as green sea turtle and also the hawksbill. So the restoration area has been done for 3.5 acres, whereas 75% of the shallow area, which is subject to most of the destruction, has been covered. And finally, we have also focused about connecting with the community around this project site. And we have done several initiatives to benefit this community as well, so that we would have their continuous support. As the way forward, finally, this is my last slide, is that we will continue to do the maintenance and the cleaning activities in the reef and the beach, so that the plastics and the other continuous pressure that comes to polluting and damaging the restoration activities will be mitigated. And of course, we are hoping to support in providing the training for the Department of Wildlife Conservation Office that they're hoping to establish in Rumasala. And of course, we will also be focusing about the continuous community support and in providing them the motivation, education, and also awareness. So it's a little bit of statement from our chairman who provides us the direction. I will not take you through this. Finally, thank you so much again for Biodiversity Sri Lanka for giving us this platform, and for all of the other keynote speakers who have been sharing inspiring aspects as well. So yes, if you have any questions, you can direct, I think, when the Hanan permits. And thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you, Sandhani. Thank you very much for that presentation. And I'm extremely sorry that you have to just finish it fast because of the time constraints. So we have come to the end of the second session. So, and I see that we have questions in the chat box for particular companies. And I'm not going to waste time talking. So for that reason, I'm going to ask Roshan Salinda, our program manager, to take over this session and to take over the Q&A session. Roshan?
Yeah, thanks, Anand. I think it's amazing to see the range of interventions being carried out by our members. We heard the stories of tree planting, reforestation, watershed conservation, species conservation, organic rice cultivation, coral reef restoration. So there are an array of interventions. I think you might be aware one thing we at BSL is trying to do is capture your work through the Life Commitment online portal and thereby obtain some recognition in the national books to the work that have been done by you. That's a side note from our end. Let me get into the questions straight away. The first one for, I think, Combank. Kamilini can answer this. What are the mangrove species planted in Kadduwa? Also, in there an indication on the local biodiversity or other important biodiversity. The question is to Commercial Bank from C. Jayaratna. Kamalini, are you there? Or Chintaka, would you like to take this question?
I think I will get Kamalini to answer that question.
Yeah.
Regarding the second question,
okay.
I think about this carbon setting off, it's like this. We have our own initiatives. I think through that we have reduced our carbon emission. But when it comes to setting off, we have gone with the UN accredited body. So I think that's why we have got the voluntary certificate from UN. So there's a website registered under them. So you can do the offsetting through them. Because our initial focus was to do that internally within Sri Lanka. But unfortunately, there is no UN recognized body where they will set off your carbon level. So, so that is the reason that we had to go for that investment.
Thanks, Chintaka. Kamalini, are you in the forum?
Yes, Roshan, she is there.
Hello. Yes,
okay.
I am actually in the forum, and I'm so sorry. I could not hear the question. If you kindly can, I suppose that Chintaka answered it sufficiently.
Yeah, let me repeat it. What are the mangrove species planted in Kadduwa? Also, is there an indication on the local biodiversity or other important biodiversity?
Yes. The mangrove species that we have mainly planted in this area is Rhizophora. Yes, and we have selected with the expert advice where this particular method, since we have used a particular methodology, the barrels and all that, so it has to come up the uniqueness in the roots. That is why we have used this species in that. So with this expert advice and all that. Yes.
Thanks, Kamilini.
Right. Thank you very much. Thanks.
The next question is to Krishna, I think, for Talawakale. Krishna, are you in the forum?
Yes, okay.
Yeah, let me read the question for you. Are you looking at ecosystem services enhancement in the catchment and the downstream areas? Are you looking at ecosystem services enhancement in the catchment and downstream areas?
Yeah, actually, Roshan, for the answer the question, mostly we are focusing to the upstream area because our all state, upcountry states in the river upstream area, Devon and St. Clair, then the Upper Coast Malay. But I think in the future, most probably we are having an opportunity to engage with the Central Environment Authority program called Suraki Muganga program. Then we can engage with them and we can support to them to that project because main objective of this project to provide the clean water for the surrounding local community to the avoiding any pollutant activities in the river stream. Therefore, we can support to same project in future. And initially, we discussed with the Central Environment Authority initial discussion, but we are already having a partnership with the Mahaveli Authority, Wildlife Department. Therefore, in future, definitely we can engage with the downstream protection activities. Still, we are doing the upstream area.
Yeah. Thanks, Krishna. I think you can take it as a learning from this workshop when you are expanding your activities. Focus on the downstream actors.
Yeah.
Amandani, I think she requests presentation. Yes, we are happy to share them, provided that all the companies are willing to share the presentations. We will attend to that, Amandani.
Roshan, this is Chanuka. Sorry, I had technical difficulty earlier. So I see a question for us there. Is it a good time to answer that now?
Yeah, I am about to ask you. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Right. So it is asking about how are we ensuring the survival of the trees. So all of us, our tree planting programs have the collaboration of strategically picked partners where resources and logistics are provided by them to address these concerns. That is like schools, temples, defense forces, RDA, and all of them. And they provide the necessary infrastructure to ensure the survival of the trees. And we, from our end, through branches and through our staff, we are also monitoring it from our end as well. And I have also told you that we have collaborated with RDA to implement this website and tree planting tracking app. So through this tracking app also we can track the trees. They can go there and take a picture of the tree, and it will be geotagged, and we can go there and every in periodic intervals we can track the tree and update it in the system. So the system will have all the information regarding the planted trees as well. So the main thing about the program is that we are picking the right partners who can really facilitate the survival of the trees. Is that clear? Is that answer? I hope that answers your questions.
Thanks, Chanuka. Glad to see the application of technology in tree planting. I think I have few more questions from the users who wish to remain anonymous. One for Shamodi. Shamodi, are you there in the forum? Hanan, can we see Shamodi? Yeah.
Yes.
Shamodi, question is, can you explain further on digital boundary demarcation?
Yes, yeah. So you have to use the drone technology, and to lay it using the drone technology or laying it on digitally, you can using ArcGIS or any other GIS mapping system. So that is how you have to do the digital boundary demarcation. That can be used in map development and all the publications and other areas. Also, this is the system that we used in order to calculate the estimation of the ecosystem services as well.
Thanks, Shamodi. We can't let you go. There is another question to you. How do you value ecological wealth of Endana Nature Corridor project? Is that something in your scope?
I will just give a brief answer, but it's a very, very technical area, and we have a specialized team to handle the technical area of the forest. But anyway, it is like in very simple words. So in any kind of a forest restoration work, you would see that you can identify we have good forests, you can call them like virgin forest or good forest, and then you have secondary forest, plus you have the home gardens that will also be absorbed into the forest ecosystems. So you have to discount the values based on the health of the forest that you have.
So we have discounted the values that we give based on and then there are a lot of literature and a lot of publications out there that you can use to do the valuation. It's something similar to how you would be doing the carbon calculation for or the greenhouse gas footprint of your company. There are a lot of literature and the verification factors, emission factors. Likewise, you have a certain protocol developed for ecosystem valuation as well. There are lots of parameters to that you need to calculate: the soil carbon, soil microbes, soil, a lot of soil parameters to ecosystem parameters as well. So it's a combination of valuation of all these things accounted, and also identify number of households that will be benefiting out of it and in which ways. And future values also calculated as well, like how you be calculating an NPV value or the internal rate of return for a commercial project. So likewise, there's a system that you can see what is the payback period, and through that, what is the ecosystem value created through a certain restoration project. But also it's a lot of scientific and technical, rather than I just mention it in a very brief way. We are associating a technical expertise who is really capable of doing this to do that. Yeah, for hope that gives a brief idea, sufficient idea for this. Roshan?
Yeah, thanks. I think it helps, Shamodi. Yeah, good luck with all of your efforts, Shamodi.
Thank you, Roshan.
Before I think posing the next question, I would like to make a request. We are thinking of getting a group photo here. Can you please switch on your video? I think then our technical term capture a video, photo. I request from all, please switch on video. Samiha, please let me know when done.
Roshan will give them a few seconds, and after that we'll take the picture.
Sure.
Thank you, everyone. The picture is taken. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you very much. I know that in the forum we have Professor Nirmali Pallevatta. Professor, would you like to make some observations about the work being carried out by our membership? Hanan, is Professor Pallevatta left?
Let me check, Roshan. She's here. I don't know whether if she can unmute herself, she'll be able to take part. Professor, are you here? Roshan, I don't think that...
I think she might be having some technical difficulty.
Yes.
Do we have any more questions? I think we addressed all the questions that we received. Hanan, then it is over to you.
Yes. Thank you, Roshan. It has been a great day again for the continuous 3 days. We had our annual technical sessions, and from this day, I think it's over. So I'd like to thank Commercial Bank for sponsoring us for this event. And also I'd like to thank Alliance Finance, Diesel and Motor Engineering, Dilma Ceylon Tea Company, along with Dilma Conservation, HSBC Sri Lanka, Jetwing Hotels, Thalawakala Tea Estate, Resplendent Ceylon, and Kalni Valley Plantations for taking part today and showing some interest to present your case studies and enlightening all the audience and making this event a success. So I also like to thank Mr. Subramaniam Iswaran for joining us at least for 10 minutes. Unfortunately, he couldn't stay because he had a very busy schedule today. So thank you very much, everyone. I'd like to thank Biodiversity Sri Lanka, the Secretariat staff, and the Curve Up team for helping us to conduct this wonderful event. So guys, all the participants, thank you very much for supporting us.
Anand, can you kindly remind about the AGM and the forum?
And also please make sure on the 23rd of September, that's next Thursday at 4:30, 4 o'clock, we'll be having the registration. At 4:30 we will be starting our AGM, and we would request at least one person representing our member companies. So please be available and take part in the AGM, and also the CEO forum, which is like going to be full of surprises, and we have a good keynote speaker also. So guys, I'm hoping everyone that will join us, and hope to see you there soon. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great day and stay safe.
Thank you.